Good afternoon, everyone. This is Michael Strom from Oasis Senior Advisors, and today we have the pleasure of interviewing Jordan Hellman from 123 Homecare. Jordan, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good, thanks.
So I was wondering, could you tell us a little bit about your background and 123 Homecare?
Absolutely, I certainly can. So I'm a Director of Operations and Business Development for our Orange County operations. So I'm based here in Orange County. And I've been with the company now for a little under 4 years. The company itself has been around for about 5. Believe it or not, I myself am a recovering attorney. I actually came at this industry as I was very familiar with the founding partners. I guess the defining factor for all of us is that we had all left some professional careers in order to find something a little more rewarding and also a little more entrepreneurial. And then on a personal level, the vast majority of the management team had experiences not so great with home care in general. And so I myself had been a part of coordinating home care for my grandparents in Florida. And then the 3 founders themselves had coordinated respectively in Northern California and Orange County as well. So we had seen it from a business perspective and also from a personal perspective. In a similar vein, I guess the whole goal for 123 Home Care has always been to bring home care to our families and make it as easy as 123. In so doing, what we've done is we've created a handful of client-centric policies and created a platform that is the most flexible and the most creative and forward-thinking within the space. And by doing that, we've grown from, I guess, 3 guys in a room to upwards of 1,000 caregivers, 18 offices throughout Orange County, 18 offices throughout California, inclusive of Orange County, Los Angeles County, the Bay Area, and the Inland Empire.
Well, thank you, Jordan. So now, as far as non-medical home care, could you describe and explain what are the different services that are in non-medical home care?
Sure. That's a good question. I think a lot of people don't have a whole lot of experience with home care until they need home care. So one of the most common questions we get is, well, what types of services do you provide and what is home care? So I guess very candidly, we provide a very large spectrum of services that include things like personal care and assistance, so things like hygiene assistance, toileting assistance, showering assistance, dressing assistance, and of course things like transfer and ambulation, so getting up and down. Oftentimes this manifests itself as something like a morning routine or an afternoon routine. In addition to that whole personal care aspect, we also provide things like light housekeeping and domestic duty assistance. So things like the dishes or the laundry, taking out the trash, even things like pet care typically fall into something that we could cover. Beyond that, things like diet planning and meal preparation for our families that may have dietary restrictions or maybe on a particular diet pursuant to a diagnosis they may have. That's something we can assist with. And even more things like medication management, so making sure mom or dad are taking their medications as needed and as appropriate, and then keeping a log of sorts to make sure that you can track that type of thing. Even more, one of the things that actually differentiates us from other companies has been our ability to provide transportation assistance. So providing a qualified caregiver who can assist with doctor's appointments or errand assistance. And this is particularly useful for individuals who may be coordinating care remotely and might not be able to get to those types of appointments. So in those types of instances, a caregiver can be there to take notes with a doctor or to ensure, of course, that they're safe while they're there at the appointment, and also assist with any particular personal care or transfer and ambulation assistance that might be necessary during that time period. And then very much from a personal perspective, we also provide companionship and recreation assistance. That can be something as simple as making sure mom and dad get outside for a walk, or taking them to a movie, taking them to the hairdresser, to the salon. I mean, all those are types of things that our families typically request and help our individuals and our families, I guess, live a more independent and fulfilled life. So that's just a handful of things that we assist with as well.
Well, thank you, Jordan, for explaining what non-medical home care is. Now, can you explain to us what non-medical home care is not?
Absolutely. So that's actually a very common question that we get from our families. And I think the smoothest way of distinguishing is that by name, we are non-medical home care. And that's often distinguished from the skilled side of care, which would traditionally be performed by, say, an LVN or an RN, or even an individual in the family who's been trained in particular types of skilled services. Things that are typically outside the spectrum of what we provide would be things like administration medication, so giving an individual a shot, something like wound care. So for an individual who might have a bed sore or who has maybe a surgery site that needs to be cleaned, that's something that's outside of our perspective as well. And then even more so, things like G-tube feedings, and things of that nature, those are things that are typically reserved, again, for the LVNs, RNs, or those skilled individuals within the family who can provide those services.
Well, thank you, Jordan.
Appreciate it.
So now, could you tell us what are some of the differences that families should be looking for when they are selecting a home care company?
Sure, absolutely. So I guess one of the primary things that healthcare professionals would agree to is that when you're selecting a home care agency, you typically want to have somebody that's, of course, licensed through the Home Care Services Bureau, but also serves as the legal employer of the caregiver themselves, such that you can limit any potential loss or liability. Some of the things that a company like 123 Home Care, again, a fully licensed and accredited home care organization, would provide would be things like workers' compensation insurance. Each and every caregiver, because they are an employee of the company, is also bonded and insured. Even more, we pay all their federal and state income taxes, and we have numerous general liability policies as well as unemployment insurance policies. I guess, again, the goal of there being is to create a construct where the families are protected from any potential loss or liability and are not, in a sense, acting themselves as the employer of the caregiver. In the state of California, if you employ an independent contractor, all of the things that I mentioned previously are on the family themselves to cover. So again, you could get hit hypothetically with medical expenses should an individual get hurt in your home. Should care no longer be needed, they could effectively come after the family for unemployment benefits. And God forbid an individual the caregiver themselves were not to pay their particular federal and state income taxes, hypothetically the IRS could come after the family themselves as the employer for those particular monies.
Well, excellent, Jordan. So now could you talk a little bit to what sets 123 Home Care apart from other competition?
I would love to. So it's another great question. I guess going back to some of the things that we'd spoken about earlier, our goal has always been to make the process of receiving the highest quality of care as easy as 123. I guess a couple of ways we do that are through a lot of our client-centered policies. I guess one of the things that's always been a fairly big issue within the home care space has been hourly minimums. At 123 Home Care, we can service a client that needs maybe as little as 1 hour a day all the way up through 24 hours a day. Even beyond that, there are no long-term contracts. So a lot of times in the past, families were locked into X amount of hours in a week or in a month and required to use care that they may not have needed. That's something that we don't have at 123 Home Care. Even more so, we have no cancellation penalties. So for those times where, I guess essentially, the family might be able to pick up a shift that we were scheduled for, you can cancel without any penalty, even same day. Beyond that, we have, I guess, one of the big things that distinguishes a company is how quickly can you operate. Something that we've really enamored ourselves to our community partners and our hospital partners has been our ability to get care in place with a qualified caregiver extremely efficiently and quickly. To that end, we can do same-day in-home or in-hospital assessments, usually within an hour, and we can implement care usually within 3 hours, if not sooner. And I guess from a more personal perspective, one of the important aspects is always understanding that you're dealing with a personal relationship. So we have what's called the Comfort Match Guarantee, which effectively is our commitment to ensure that the individual that we provide for your loved one is someone that I guess checks off the boxes that might be important to them. Something like gender, is it male or female important? Something like personality. Do you want someone more outgoing or more reserved? Someone chatty or not so chatty? Even things that go towards, I guess, particular hobbies, or even things like, do you like dogs? Do you like cats? I mean, all these types of things are things we take into account when we're staffing an individual and staffing a qualified caregiver with a family. So those are certain things that we as a company have always thought of important and have become something that have separated us and differentiated us from other home care companies within the industry. So I guess in addition to those other items, I think one of the ways that we've been utilized in various capacities has been our comprehensive transportation solutions. It's something that sets us apart for our hospital partners in that we provide a qualified caregiver for tuck-in services. So individuals who might just need to get home but don't have the means to do so. And in so doing, we can help them pick up any medications, or then once they get through the door, we can help ensure that they're set up and ready to go should they just need a little bit of care. For individuals that may have, there might be a little bit of a hurdle in getting them to sign up for home care. Just that small bit of care and getting them set up can be the difference between a readmission and staying home safely. I think for our community partners, one of the things we've been looked to from a transportation perspective has been our preferred partnership with Uber through the Uber Assist platform. And I guess very briefly, that's a platform that allows us to be a 24/7 dispatcher for predominantly independent folks, but those folks who might need I guess something similar to an on-demand taxi service. But the drivers on this Uber Assist platform are certified in transfer and ambulation assistance and can help predominantly independent folks either with a transfer and ambulation into and out of a vehicle or with breaking down of any assisted living devices. This has been and shown itself to be a more cost efficient and time efficient way of getting people from here to there who, again, maybe don't need a whole heck of a lot of care, but just need a little extra assistance. So those two ways, whether it be through tuck-in and transportation platforms or through our preferred partnership with Uber, have been ways that we've set ourselves apart with our hospital and community partners.
All right, well, thank you, Jordan, for all the wonderful information about your company and the industry. So if a client would like to contact you, what's the best way to reach you for a consultation or questions?
Sure. Well, I guess, again, we are available 24/7, 365. The vast majority of our families will reach out to us via telephone. So you can reach us 24/7 at 949-270-5299. Again, 949-270-5299. If email is your preferred method, you can also reach us via that way with info@123homecares.com. That's info@123homecares with an S.com. And also, should you want to live chat with us on our website, you can do that 24/7, and that website is 123homecares with an S.com. That's 123homecares.com.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
All right.
All right.
Thanks so
Bye,
much.
everybody.